showtime.
Welcome into the SEC Pub.
What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Dale. It's another week of college football. So it's going to be another week of the SEC Pub. And with me this week, I've got Nick and I've got Evis. Fellas, how y'all doing?
Good evening. How about you?
I'm doing great.
All good, all good. Hey, Evis, give me your best and worst of the weekend, this weekend past.
I start with my worst, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a homer, man. So Arkansas took a pretty big L last weekend.
Yeah.
And I thought they played well enough to win the game potentially. Just didn't have enough juice. And so on my best for last week, I think maybe the best. I don't like to say this because I'm a big supporter of Prime.
Yeah.
But I like the USC. They held off of Colorado right in the end, man. So
yeah.
Maybe that's the best of the week, man.
I feel you, because they were like a 21-point dog.
They were 21. They came roaring out of that, and in that second half, they came roaring out of that locker room.
Right.
Yep.
And
I would agree with that.
That's what I gotta say. USC, although it's not my favorite team, I think they did an excellent job. I watched that entirety of the game. And I just enjoyed it, man. It was a good game.
Yeah. Look, I love it when it's interesting at the end, at least,
Absolutely.
So that was good. Coach Prime, he'll figure it out for sure, man. They're playing over their head right now because they don't have the roster yet, but it's coming, man. Give them some years, man.
Wait, what you say, Dale? It's doing what?
It's coming, man. Give him some years.
I think that's I think that's his motto, man. We coming, man, and you got to give him some time. He's gonna get some recruits in.
Yeah.
The kids will come. Boulder, Colorado is gonna become a very popular place. I guarantee you that.
Yeah. So tell me, Nick, best and worst of the weekend.
Okay, best game. I'm gonna agree with you. I would say Colorado USC. One, it showed us that Colorado can do it on the offense. Shadur looks like a real first round talent.
Yeah.
And USC's defense is Swiss cheese. So that gives the opportunity for somebody to possibly go in there, to possibly make it in. So I think that gave a lot of hope to other college teams. Worst game, I'm sorry, I'm going to give it to LSU and Ole Miss. LSU should have had that dub. Ole Miss was able to just do too much. I thought LSU might have had a shot to really start solidifying themselves, at least being a top 10 team. They're not. They're probably top 20, 25, which is fine. But they're in a clear rebuilding year. And I think that, to segue off of what Evis was saying, is watch out next year, because if Brian Kelly ends up having another mid-year next year, watch Coach Prime end up at LSU.
So that's an early big time predictor, man.
I've been saying that. I said LSU.
Big time predictor.
I've been following Brian Kelly for some reference. Brian Kelly is their coach now. Their previous he was at Michigan State before, and then before that it was Grand Valley State. I was dating a girl that went to Grand Valley State and Michigan State at the time when he got the job, and I was like, man, he's going to do really well. He did really well at Grand Valley State, did really well at Michigan State, got to LSU, looked good for a year or so, and he's going right back. The previous coach built a great roster, and he's kind of Gruden in it and taking that roster a little bit farther than it needed to be. And now he's going to, his recruiting sucks, so he's going to end up out of there. Coach Prime's going to be LSU coach 2025.
Whoa.
Watch. Watch. If not, watch it be Alabama. Watch Coach Saban be like, you know what? I'm done with college football. I just want to be a talking head. And then all of a sudden they go, hey, Coach Prime, do you want to be the coach of Alabama? He's going to be like, oh,
I see that happening during the commercial.
I can't wait until that promo. He's going to be like, you gave this to the wrong man. You gave it to the wrong man now. I'm about to show y'all.
Nick, I got a question.
Yeah.
Are you calling Coach Saban a quitter?
No, I think that finally, again, like I said last week, Joel Klatt said it, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, Nick Saban, or Alabama has a Nick Saban problem. He doesn't right now. He's got a Jalen Milroe problem. If that solution is not fixed next year, because I think this year they'll probably lose 4 games. If I was going to put a team on upset alert, it'd probably be Alabama this week. So I think that he's going to walk into his first real true test of adversity here. I wouldn't say he's a quitter, but I think he's the most accomplished college coach of all time. So I think that at this point he could walk away and nobody would doubt him.
Right.
But I could also see something like by 2025 USC reopening and then him being like, well, you know, forget Alabama, I'm going to USC. Like, and then trying to do and really like turning college football on its head. I think 2025 is going to be the year where it just goes like, it doesn't matter. Throw it at the wall. It's going to work.
Okay. All right.
Interesting.
Nick going way out there on us.
Right.
Hey,
That was early.
if you give Coach Prime LSU, he wins 5 national titles.
Yeah.
Like his coaching would be great because one, he's going to bring in great coaches.
Right.
His recruiting is going to be unmatched. I wouldn't be surprised if I don't know if you guys remember a few years ago when my Duke team got RJ Barrett, Zion, and Cam Reddish, and it was like 1, 2, and 4 out of the top 5 in college basketball.
Right.
That's going to be them. They're going to be like, oh yeah, we got the number 1 corner, the number 2 corner, the number 5 corner. Like we have everybody. Good luck.
I can see it.
So
I can see it, man.
All right.
Well, my best and worst of the weekend has to do exactly what you mentioned there, Nick. My best was the LSU offense. My God, we couldn't be stopped. Jaden Daniels dropping dimes left and right. Good Lord, man. Now, his only problem is he thinks he's Jerome Bettis because he tried to run over people. I don't understand that with him. Like, Bam, like you're like 180 soaking wet. Like, you can't run over anybody. You're fast. That's your thing.
It's my Panthers throwing Bryce Young out there and being like, hey, man, you got this. Just go straight up the middle.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that offense, they put up so many points. And this is something at LSU I never thought I would see. It's just an explosive offense. But then the worst of the weekend, LSU's defense. We can't stop anything. We gave up yardage in a touchdown. I want to say to Grambling State. Okay. I know they got Hugh Freeze and everything like that. So he's got some offensive tricks and they're well coached. But no, you're LSU.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to let them score.
Grambling State might be able to put points on my Carolina Panthers right now, let alone the LSU Tigers. So
yeah, man. But versus Ole Miss, I mean, it was my worst fear. I know Ole Miss going to come in there with, a great offensive game plan. They're going to put up their points, but at a certain point, you shut that stuff down. And that never happened with LSU because they're going to come out hot. They're going to come out ready because they get up for these games. And, we're going to talk about it later, but we got the same kind of scenario coming up. They teams going to be getting up for LSU because you're LSU. Nobody cares about your record. You're LSU. You're coming to town. They're getting up for you. So that defense, man, it's got a lot of work to be done. They just went and hired Pete Jenkins, who's a defensive line guru. The man is like 82 years old, but we don't have a defensive line coach because our defensive line coach got hired away, went to the Broncos. Then they brought in somebody. That guy got sick. He went to the hospital, and now he's like fighting for his life and stuff. And now we got in like this assistant guy. He don't know what to do. And so now we got to bring in this 82-year-old guru to fix our defensive line.
Yeah, but
hopefully
real quick,
that works.
How was your defensive line last year? Because if it's anything that what the Broncos defenses look like, it's a good thing that man's gone. I mean, me, you, and Evis might be able to go out there and do it better than whatever he's doing in Denver. So
last year, man, we didn't have the guys. We had like a 3-man rotation on the defensive line. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
And so that was the problem last year. This year, we're rotating a lot more people, but we're lining up 2 yards off the ball. Like, you can't have that on the defensive line.
Not in the SEC. Yeah, hug the ball, man.
Yeah, that's Vanderbilt stuff right there.
Yes. So that's been the problem with LSU, and hopefully we can get this fixed this week, but highly unlikely. I mean, it's just 1 week, so.
Guys, are we entertaining the possibility that a 2-loss team plays for the national championship in college football this year?
If that two loss is a blue blood program, yes. If that two loss team is like a Cincinnati from years ago, no.
No.
The only way that they get in is if they're an Alabama, a USC. They need to have the cachet of their organization to be able to do that. Or they need to just go in and, like, in the SEC title game, LSU just drops like 70, does a Miami Dolphins kind of thing to Georgia. And then there's like, you know what? Well, maybe they are the best team. So that could be the only way.
Well, 2-loss teams never made the playoffs before, right? So you would need absolute chaos.
It would have to be. I'm entertaining that prospect. I'm looking at some of the games that's coming up this week, and I got some people on upset alert, guys. I got some predictions coming.
I agree, but do you think that's a great question? Do you think that is a symptom of NIL, and do you think that more teams, there will be less no-law teams moving forwards now that NIL and the transfer portal is really parachuting, everybody and give people the opportunity to go someplace else and not be a quarterback 3 on a team anymore?
We talked about this last week, and I think there's going to be a topic going forward for us that we really have to introduce and take very seriously, and that's the prospect of guys moving around. Guys, I'm telling you right now, it's not the uniform name anymore. It's the NIL. It's the likeness, man. It's the money. And so if I get the opportunity to be the number 3 quarterback at LSU or be the number 1 quarterback at Oklahoma State, where I know they had their oil money, I know it's money there for me to make, and play ball. Hey, I'm going. And if I'm a parent, that's where I'm sending my kid to. I want the immediate exposure. I want the splash. And the kids now, they know each other. They recruit one another. And so it's possible to have, think about it, guys. We think about the talent that Deion Sanders brought from Jackson State to Colorado. These guys were in a swag, guys. These are the cream of the crop skill talent across college football, the college football landscape, regardless of classification, regardless of division. And so it's not that much difference. And so absolutely. And so, Dale, I think there's something that we're going to really have to take into consideration going forward. Nick Saban doesn't consider this move outside of the NIL. Also, Clemson, Dabo Swinney.
Right.
I don't think that these coaches have what it takes to woe these players and court these players that are coming in with these high profiles. These kids, they only know social media. A lot of coaches are anti-social media.
Yeah.
If you come with an ancient mindset on these things, you're gonna get left behind, and you're gonna have to find something else to do. You're gonna become a position coach.
Yeah. That's accurate right there, man. What's up, Coach Lee?
How's everybody doing today?
Oh,
doing
good,
great.
man.
How you doing, Coach?
Great, sir.
I'm pumped, man. It's battle some of the traffic. Texas OU weekend. Let's get it.
I feel you, man. Give me your best and worst of the weekend.
Well, actually, I feel like I'm jumping on the back on y'all's backs because I got the best and worst from the same thing. They both come from Colorado. For the best, I did like the story of Travis Hunter, and I think was it Jay Norville, the young man that hit him or something like that.
Yes.
They met up, went to the bowling alley, kind of mended their fences. I think there was never any ill blood between the two of them, but seeing them to be able to take the lead and squash what's been going on, all the craziness in social media. Kudos to those two young men. That's a sport at the end of the day.
Yeah. I like that. Okay.
And the worst, man, what's up with all the hate on Coach Prime, man? It ties to what you were just saying as far as like these coaches not being able to adapt to the changes that are going on. You got to get out of that old fuddy-duddy mentality that I'm Alabama, I'm Clemson, I'm Notre Dame. They're going to come. No. Like you said earlier, these young men can go to another school, play immediately, get the exposure, get the NIL deal. If it don't work out, yeah, they can transfer if they need to. I know they got some changes come with the transfer portal, but I like the idea that all these athletes having these options. They're not just locked in, because sometimes coaches would tell you whatever they want to tell you to woo you in, but then the coach can leave or it cannot be a match, and these young men are locked into these situations.
There you go. Coach Lee, I think what you addressed right now it's a fear factor. That's where the hate comes from. It seems like Deion is well, I won't even call him Dion in respect for him. I'm going to go with Coach Prime, but I just call him Dion because when I was a kid, it was prime. He was prime time to me, and it was just Deion Sanders, man. Sure. It was the Dion apparel. It was the Dion swag. It was the high stepping in scramble and playing in the backyard. And so Coach Prime, he's ahead of the curve with this whole NIL deal. And I think the reason for the hate, I think the hate runs deeper than we actually see. Some people just can't contain themselves though, and they allow it to spew out of their mouths. Yeah. But I'm here to tell you that that's the fear. And we Nick touched on right before you jumped on with us the potential for some coaches to do some shuffling. And I'm going to begin to start evaluating whether or not I believe some head coaches are now going to become position coaches. So.
Excited about Dabo. What's the guy named Jimbo down in A&M?
Oh yeah,
I've already seen the rumblings that they're saying they might buy him out. All the talent and all these number one recruiting classes, nothing's being done. But at the end of the day, you got to deliver results. And now with this NIL involved, a lot of that money is coming legally now from those boosters to these athletes, and they want to return on their investment now.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right. You better win. Too much is given, much is required. So
I love it. You got the expansion of college football that's coming up, and I like the idea that NIL is having the effect that it's having. Because let's be honest, it kind of sucked every year. It's the same team starting in the top 5, pretty much. All they got to do is not lose, and they're in the championship game. It's not fair. So naturally, all they're going to do is keep their pipeline coming. These same kids year after year, so you always got the same people in there all the time. The whole landscape has changed now. You got to be able to recruit. You got to be able to connect to these players. You got to be able to retain that talent once you get it.
Right.
Oh.
Yep.
Right.
I agree. Who do we think is going to be the next version of Coach Prime? I know we talked on this last week about players transitioning to coaches. Again, I will fully say that I'm always pro player and everything. So I think the players will be like the Deion Sanders will continue to push the envelope. Like you said, the NIL money, booster money, all that other stuff is going to continue to grow and grow and grow. But I think the next logical step is more players become coaches, especially former players, Hall of Fame players. Warren Sapp's going to be involved with Colorado, all that stuff now. That's great. The next thing we need is a 100% independent body to make the schedules for all these teams. So there's no longer Alabama Liberty, and it's Alabama Texas, Alabama, Texas Tech. I don't really care what it is, but I'm tired of seeing them beat up on Louisiana Monroe. And all these other teams. I think we need to get to the point, either it's going to come willingly or it's going to come in the form of something that people are going to hate, which in my opinion is going to be the soccer version of Champions League, where we're going to end up getting 25 teams that pretty much play in their own conference or do their own separate tournament at some point, where it's just like, hey, this is where you see Alabama, Texas, and all these guys play each other. All the top recruits go to these top schools that play in the special league all by themselves, and they basically remove themselves from college football. Because why do I care about playing like my team, Duke? Like, it makes no sense. Go make your money.
Yeah, that's what I kind of pictured happening. Everybody just like succeed from the NCAA and they do their own thing, because they're tired of the enforcement of some rules to some schools, and some schools get away with stuff. So I could see everybody kind of gathering together and making their own league, come up with their own commissioner that governs everything like that. So yeah, I can see that happening.
So, guys, I'll tell you something. It's some fear that I have associated with that. It's a move that could potentially happen, but I don't know if you keep your fan base, and I'll tell you why. A lot of this money that's generated in college football is generated around the idea of these rivalries, the things that we're accustomed to seeing. I have an expectation to see LSU and Bama every year. I have an expectation to see some of these games that are rivalry games that we're accustomed to seeing over a long period of time. And so I think it's a level of danger there with keeping the interest of the fan, because it's somewhat refreshing kind of knowing what your conference is, knowing the people and players in your conference, and also having a rich tradition of wanting to beat those guys specifically. And so I'm kind of on the fence about the interest that could remain in the college game if we go into look at it in a place with more parity about who you're scheduling. I think the scheduling won't matter even if you left it as is, as long as we continue to have the NIL. It makes the great equalizer. Also, it puts a lot of people in place to be more competitive no matter where they are. The NIL is the equalizer.
Some kind of way, every college football fan, they have hope. Now, you could be, a fan of UAPB, and you still got hope.
That's right.
You don't think you're going to win the actual national championship, but you got hope for the season. That it's going to be a good season for you. So, yeah, college football has that magic formula right now, and the changes. I don't know if that's going to affect that formula or not. But yeah,
I agree. But that definitely has blood in it. We want to win that. We want to win that boot, man. That Arkansas Louisiana combined boot, right?
Right.
And that's a game that plays every year, but we do like to see it. We do enjoy seeing it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're right. All right, let's get into some of these games for this week here. The first game we're going to talk about is Texas and OU. Texas is a 5.5-point favorite. 62 is the total there. Both of these teams are undefeated. Texas won last year. The matchup ended in 49-0. And this would be the last season Oklahoma and Texas are members of the Big 12 Conference. But some questions here about this game. Has Oklahoma's defense really improved this year? So far, we've only seen them surrender 20 points once this season. And Texas's defense, on the other hand, they've only surrendered a max of 24 points this season. So, Coach, this is your big one here. What do you see coming from the Texas side of things?
First off, I know OU wants to get some give back after that shellacking they took last year.
Right.
Rightfully so. But I think Texas will still win. I think that obviously they will cover. OU, I think they're going to try to keep it close initially, but I think Texas, that defense is just going to be too stout for them. I was checking it out yesterday. I want to believe they were ranked number 19 in offense in the nation and number 23 in defense in the nation. So that sounds like pretty much like a number one team to me. It's pretty much they went out. They should have the opportunity, obviously, going into the playoffs as the favorites, I would think. But I definitely see them knocking OU off tomorrow. I think it's going to be another blowout, though.
Another blowout here. Oh, Coach is calling for the blowout. Oh, man. So with yours, I know I've been hearing some things about him having trouble completing the long ball. Is that really an issue, or like fans kind of just overblowing things?
I think they're overblowing things. I think his biggest thing is he's been trying to get the ball to different receivers. He's still, with the exception of Worthy and Whittington, he's got some new guys in there. He's trying to get everybody involved. I think still kind of early. He came in before. I had never heard any issues with it, but then again, it could just be Texas fans panicking and having a reason to bitch about something.
Yeah.
That's what
how are you? Yeah, I mean, that's what we do. How do you feel about the running game here, especially going up against OU?
Man, I think his name is Brooks, the young man. He's actually the backup there. He's averaging 6.8 yards a carry. It's not too bad for a backup because the freshman that's there is the actual one who was seen as a stud coming in. The true freshman from Florida. They got a great 1-2 punch. And I think it's set up by the play action, a lot of the motion. They got a great tight end that's coming across the middle. The safety's got to respect. So it's going to open up their running game. They can't put as many people in the box as they might want to. So I definitely see the running game getting off tomorrow.
All right. Evans, tell me, do you believe Oklahoma Sooners, they're actually playing defense and it's actually legit?
Guys, I agree with the coach. I think I think Texas wins this game handily. I don't have a lot of input for it. I'm not as excited about it as some may be. I expect to kind of check in on it occasionally, but I think Texas will handle OU relatively easily on tomorrow. And I'm becoming more of a believer in what Texas is doing as a program this year.
Yeah.
And so I think there's nothing to see here. Texas will handle OU tomorrow.
Yeah, Texas has done the NIL thing right. Like every time LSU is in the battle with Texas, like, we're losing. Like,
they make it rain.
Definitely.
All right, who you picking in this matchup, Nick?
I've actually already taken Texas 10.5. So I think Texas wins this very handily.
Wow.
Going into the season, I thought Quinn Ewers could have been a top 5 pick. Right now, I think he's sitting as a second or third rounder, unless somebody really just needs a quarterback. I think that he is Jay Cutler essentially right now, and his ceiling is like an Eli Manning. I think that he has the potential to do so much with Texas, but that's going to end this year when they go to the playoffs and get bounced by somebody crazy. And he ends up going to the NFL. So yeah, I'm wholeheartedly on Texas's side. I don't believe in Oklahoma at all. The minute Lincoln Riley left, I sold all my Oklahoma stock.
Oh, wow.
All of it. You can have that.
So no faith at all in Venables. Like, I mean,
no.
So far it looks like he's fixed the defense.
That's great until next year, and then he shows up to the SEC and gets his ass handed to him. I mean, I'm sorry, he can fix whatever he wants this year. They're not making the playoffs, and he walks into a buzzsaw next year. So whatever he thought he fixed this year is going to have to be refixed next year. So yeah, no, Texas all the way on this.
He's a defensive coordinator, guys. It won't be 3 years before we see him back on the bench as an assistant. The coordinator of a defense. He does that, and he does it well. And I think he actually can do it on the SEC level if he has the opportunity to recruit some of those kids. But he's an assistant coach.
Yep.
Wow.
Which would be a great assistant for Deion Sanders when he takes over LSU in 25. So, hey, suck this year. Hey, suck this year. Suck next year. Quit, and then you go, hey, man, we're going with you someplace else. So, think about it.
Awesome.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right. I will pick Texas minus the 5.5. I just think those guys are just on a different level than OU is right now. But I like what OU's doing. They're building. You expect when you hire a defensive-minded coach that your defense gets better, and it's starting to get better. This is a true test for sure. But listen, whenever I watched Oklahoma any other year, it was basketball on grass. That's what it was. So it's looking a lot better for them. So let's get to our next game. Speaking of defense, there's going to be no defense in this game. I predict. Take the over. We have LSU going to Missouri. LSU is a 5.5-point favorite, road favorite. Total is 64. Missouri they're undefeated, 5-0. Their best start since 2013. This should be one that's a shootout. LSU's offense, they're being real strong. They're leading the SEC with 353 passing yards per game. Jaden Daniels, he's thrown for almost, he's thrown for over 1,700 yards a game, 16 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Missouri's offense also been strong, surpassing 500 yards total offense the last 2 games. Brady Cook, he broke the SEC record for consecutive pass attempts without an interception, throwing 348 passes without a pick. And I don't think he has to worry about an interception this week because, like I said, LSU does not play defense; they play offense, and that's what I see happening again this week. Coach, who would you pick in this game?
Let me see. I might have to take Missouri only because it is going to be an offensive display. but I think Missouri's defense is going to be a little bit better than where they have the advantage at. I think, if I'm not mistaken, LSU's defense is the second worst in the SEC, giving up 31 points a game, 429 total yards. And then on the other side, you got Missouri giving up 20 points a game, 5 yards a play.
Yeah.
So I think that's where they differentiate themselves. But I see Missouri covering.
Yeah. Okay. Nick, what you thinking about this game?
Okay. This is either LSU wins by 21 or they lose by a touchdown. Like, this is LSU either needs to come out here and win the game or they need to lose the game. If you're taking this loss and making Mizzou 6-0, LSU just needs to hang it up. Y'all done this year. Just run the ball every down for the rest of the year. It's over. But I will take LSU in this game. I think you guys will blast them. I probably would take it up to like 20, to be honest.
Okay.
I think that offense is for real. The problem is again, you guys can't stop a cold.
Right. Yeah.
You guys couldn't put out a fire in a fire department. Like,
yes.
I don't know what to do. But good luck. Good luck regardless. Don't do what my Duke did last week and lose to a dude that threw no touchdowns.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, that's brutal. Evans, what you got?
Tomorrow, man, the Tigers gonna win that game.
Yeah, Tigers.
Yeah, Tigers gonna win this game. Hear me out on this, guys. I want to make a bold prediction, man. Eli Drinkowich, he understands offensive play calling. He understands players that work inside of his offense. He's a descendant of Gus Malzahn. And I'll tell you another thing, man. This guy's recruiting, man. He's signing kids, man. He has a kid up there this year from my high school. I made mention before that Eli and we actually stayed in the same dormitory in college. I knew this guy. He's a great guy, great man. He's a Christian man. But more so than that, he cares about the kids, man. The way he talked about the NIL, the way he talked about the kids and the traveling schedules and these sorts of things, I think he's a guy that cares. I think that's illuminating with him in the way he's been able to recruit. We got another kid from my high school that's actually committed to go to Missouri next year as an athlete. And I like Missouri. I like Missouri tomorrow over LSU, and I like Missouri over LSU, going away.
All right. There we go. Yeah, if I'm putting money down, I'm probably going to take the points in Missouri. Because like I said, LSU can't stop anything. So at very least it'll be close at the end. So
it's at Missouri, guys. It's there.
Yeah, it's at Missouri. 11 o'clock.
I imagine that the fans are going to be pretty stoked in there.
Yeah.
This is their SEC championship, and
That's
I don't know if Kelly has the ability to sell that to LSU kids. They come in there thinking anything otherwise, they're going to get beat. They're going to get ran out of their stadium. Missouri is really excited. I guarantee you they'll be prepared.
Yep. The only thing I can hope for is that Brian Kelly's just gotten into the defense to where maybe schematically they fix some things. Like, be in your zone. Don't leave your zone.
Hey, one bold prediction for tomorrow, guys.
Yeah,
I predict a special team score in the LSU and Missouri game tomorrow. I think they have the talent on both sides to return a kick, and if this game is exciting, if the coaches have these kids as excited as I think they will to play against LSU, I think Missouri has some kids that can get the ball in the end zone on special team.
Okay, there we go. Let's go to our last game here, and that is Alabama at Texas A&M. Alabama is a 2-point favorite. The low total, 45 here. And someone has to win the SEC West, and Alabama and Texas A&M are the last teams standing without a conference loss. We got Nick Saban. He has a 5-1 record versus Jimbo Fisher. And A&M's defense has had the lowest third down conversion rate in the SEC, allowing 15 so far all season, which is outstanding. Texas A&M going to be starting Max Johnson at quarterback. He's the backup because their starter got injured, and we'll see what he'll be able to do so far. And just kind of glancing at Texas A&M, it looks like the offense has picked up. Max Johnson has been leading them down the field, and he's been distributing the ball pretty well. But Milroe, I think, on the Alabama side, has figured some things out as well, and that offense is looking a little bit better. So, Coach, who you picking in this game?
Do I have to?
Right.
You know what? I'm only leaning towards A&M because they are at home. I don't think they're going to catch Alabama slipping like they did the last time they played during 21. I think they won 41-30, if I'm not mistaken. But I see them winning. I think both quarterbacks got something to prove. You had spoke about Milroe losing his job and getting it back, and he's I think he's still trying to figure some stuff out with Alabama, but it's Alabama just don't look like Alabama like they used to. And I think Alabama's biggest attribute was they had the confidence, they had the name, they had the built-in swagger, and teams usually cowered on the other sideline from that. People to punch Alabama in the mouth right now, and I think A&M's going to take it to them. I know Jimbo's probably hearing all the chatter about is he going to get outed. He's got something to prove, so hopefully his team steps up for him. But I see A&M winning only because they're at home.
Okay. Well, y'all remember the whole little beef between Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban during the offseason, right? Like,
yeah, about the recruiting, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think it's gonna be a little bit more to this game. Texas A&M for sure, they're gonna get up to play this game. But one thing about Alabama, I don't think they figured it out on offense yet. But the defense, I mean, they're on schedule from what I see. Nick, tell me what you think about this game.
I mean, first of all, I'm going to go crazy with this one. I would personally say take the under. I think that the Alabama offense is anemic at best, like you said, with Milroe. I think the Texas A&M playing a backup quarterback does not mean that their offense is able to get the same firepower as they previously could. I think that Jimbo's coaching for his job, though, 100%. If he comes and loses this game 45-0, he's fired before the final whistle, essentially. I don't think that he can survive this a bad loss. If I was going to take it, I'd probably say 21-17 Alabama, which means that I would take the 2. But if Texas A&M was starting their main quarterback, I would take them probably with 7 at that point. Like I think Texas A&M literally can't win because of their quarterback. That's it.
Okay. Evans, what you see with this game?
Okay. So this is my game of the week tomorrow. I like it.
Game of the week.
I like this game a lot, man. Nick Saban is not playing in this game against Texas A&M tomorrow for his job. Jimbo Fisher's job, on the other hand, is on the line tomorrow. I feel like the kid Milroe, I want to speak to his character just a little bit. I really love the way he acted as a teammate when that job was snatched away from him.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the biggest supporter of the quarterbacks that were, playing ahead of him. And so I really like him. It gave me a feel of Jalen Hurts in a sense when I saw that in him. So I really like seeing that in him. But for the exact same reason, him not quite having an understanding about the implications and the size of this game, I want to give A&M the nod, man. I just feel like Jimbo is going to lay his head down somewhere tonight in College Station, and he and his wife are going to have a long conversation about the importance of this game tomorrow. If they like the house and everything that they're living in when they lay down tonight, they better come out tomorrow, man. You can't leave anything. You can't leave any play call and anything on in the locker room. You got to take it all to the field. If you got trick plays, I expect to see special teams, fake punts, fake field goals, whatever it takes. Jimbo Fisher has to leave tomorrow with a win.
And I'm telling you that the last few weeks I've seen Miro, he's grown, and I'm talking about in the passing game. He's completed 81% of his passes the last 2 games, and I've noticed Alabama's been putting more run plays, design runs for him into the game plan. That gives him a chance to be more comfortable and go out there and play his game. So
I would agree with that, but is Milroe even a good enough quarterback to win at the highest level? I personally don't think so. Okay. I'm not sure if you guys saw my comment. I think that Milroe makes McCarron look like Peyton Manning.
Oh,
like Milroe is not him, and the only thing that he should be preparing for is how to sell cars at a Ford dealership after he's done playing football. Like, because it's not going to be, he's not going to be playing at the highest level. I'm sorry, he's not an NFL quarterback, and if he is, he's Brian Hoyer now. Okay. He's a very smart quarterback. He's everything like that, but he is not a winning quarterback at the highest level, and it will not translate in the NFL. He is the worst quarterback, arguably, that Saban's had in the last decade.
Hold on.
Okay.
You know, Greg McElroy came from Alabama, right?
Yeah.
He went to the NFL, and it looked like he played basketball. They batted his passes like he was shooting ball, man, with an NBA player against some preschoolers, man. He simply couldn't get the ball off. This kid is young. We got to give him an opportunity, man. We talking about youth out here. He's got an opportunity to get better. And if you see his stature and his body style, this is Alabama football. But this guy, he's an athlete. He may be a professional athlete. He may not be a quarterback, but I think in some regard, this kid is a professional athlete. But he is not looking like a NFL quarterback today.
Yeah.
But with his youth, he doesn't have to today. That's what I'm saying. Jimbo has to win tomorrow for his job.
Yeah.
This Milroe kid, he has time.
Yeah. But I feel like his time is so short now because of NIL, because of the transfer portal and all that stuff. Jalen Milroe, if he was to come out this year, wouldn't even be in discussion for the top 15 quarterbacks coming out in the draft. Like Alabama obviously needs a quarterback to be poised in the pocket, be able to run that offense and everything like that. And this is kind of the thing that we've been talking about, the lack of change that these coaches want hasn't been changing at all in places like Clemson or Alabama. We're seeing those ones as the ones taking the biggest steps back because they don't want to be on this transfer train and everything like that. So I would honestly say if Jalen Milroe stays in college, he's playing for another team next year, not for Alabama. And if he is, he's quarterback too.
Well,
I mean, look,
he's playing for his job just as much as Jimbo Fisher is. The difference is he's there on scholarship and Jimbo's getting paid.
Yeah, he beat somebody out for the job, for sure. I mean, and he beat out a transfer too for the job.
And I could beat out an entire room of kindergartners for best quarterback on my intramural team, but that doesn't mean that I'm a starting quarterback. Like, I'm sorry, he's the best available option. That's what we're going with. So, are we saying right now, like, if we were to take him off and put what's his name? DJ Ungulele from isn't he at Maryland now? If you were to put him on the Alabama team, they go undefeated and win a natty. Jalen Milroe is the Alabama problem this year. Regardless of what his stats may say, it doesn't translate into the game and into winning. Like, if they lose this game, Alabama done for the year. Like, this would be the first time they've lost 2 games in what, like 10, 15 years?
Yeah.
So something crazy.
Is it time for me to give a take on the counter for the Milroe just for a quick second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Tavares Jackson is the first name to come to mind. He played at Arkansas. They brought him in, and he had the strongest arm in the quarterback room at Arkansas. He couldn't get on the field. He enters the transfer portal, goes to Alabama State, maybe Alabama A&M, and he gets drafted, man. He goes on to have a successful NFL quarterbacking career as a starter and backup. For that reason alone, I just can't give up on this kid Milroe yet.
But see, okay, so I agree with that, what you're saying. I'm also going to be 100% transparent that after Jalen Hurts was benched and he went to Oklahoma, I was like, if he can't mentally rebound from this, he's not draftable either. So I'll fully die on that
Yeah.
hill as well. I do think Jalen Hurts is a starting quarterback now. But right now, what Milroe's shown, he is not. He's not even Brock Purdy, who people don't even think is a starting quarterback in the NFL. Like, if he was to come to the NFL right now, he's a quarterback 3 on any team, period. He's not contending to start. He's not doing anything. He's not a needle mover right now. Now, if that changes and they end up winning the SEC West and they end up making a good playoff run and everything like that, that's great. But right now, he's shown that he's shrinking to this pressure.
Coach, Texas played Milroe, right?
Say again?
Texas played against Milroe, right?
I'm pretty confident, yeah.
I think so. Yeah, sure did.
Okay. All right. What did you think of him in that game?
He was under pressure a lot, but he definitely was missing his mark. His feet were antsy. I think his control was caused by not being able to set his feet. I think maybe the hype of the game might have got to him. And that's something that can be coached. And then also, I think the coordinator, the first-year coordinator at Alabama, you got all that dynamic going on. It's just going to be them being able to sit down and him being able, hopefully, to communicate. I like this certain style of plays or this X amount of plays, and trying to coach him towards his strengths. Right now, they're trying to open up the playbook. They're kind of like in desperation mode. So I think they're pressing a lot.
Okay.
Agree with you.
I agree.
Yeah. I think he'll get better as the season goes along, especially because the coaches they know he's the best option and they need to cater the playbook toward him and not just what they've always been doing. So Nick Saban's a smarter coach than that, and I think they'll be fine. So yep. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys joining us for the SEC Pub once again. It's always good to talk college football with y'all, man. Join us again next week, and we will have more discussion about college football, and we'll see y'all later.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, bro.
Guys, have a good weekend.
Hookem, baby.
Yeah.
Remember to follow us on social media at BSNBia Media. Also, smash the like button on YouTube and share with friends.